Chris Cusimano, and I'm joined with who's with us today?
Jen Konkoff. As I raise
Alex
my
Mondell.
hand.
As you
Joe
hand over,
Polio.
Joe Polio. Joe, who are you? Tell everyone who you are.
I am with Cousins USA Moving and Storage. I do marketing and sales. It's my family's business. We've been around going on 29 years now. So just happy to be here. Happy to chit chat with you guys.
All right. Well, if you
That's,
guys just
an
heard that
outtake.
commotion, yeah, if you guys heard that commotion, Alex is gaining a little weight and he just broke his chair, and you
First
gotta
of
watch the
all,
version on YouTube.
that's the only clip that I'm going to post from this podcast. Just me,
Yeah.
like this busting ass.
Poor Joe's giving his intro of who he is and why he's here. Then in the middle of it, Alex breaks his chair. So okay, well, Joe, thanks for being here.
muscle,
So
not fat.
we like to bring on local businesses to have conversations about just basically how they're in the business, what they do in the business, and how they can provide value to buyers and sellers and ourselves and real estate agents. And even if someone's not local in the area, maybe they can get some ideas for their local moving company. So I appreciate you being here and you coming on. I'm going to dive into that. But before we do all that, we were talking about a second ago about this whole TikTok ban thing,
Yes,
right?
enlighten me.
Yeah.
Please.
So
Yeah.
so Alex was all excited that someone might buy it and keep it going.
Yep.
Tell us what are your thoughts, Alex?
But
So what I've
backtrack.
been seeing and what I've been reading, mainstream news, whether you like it or you don't like it, they've been discussing a potential buyer for TikTok and kind of save it from being banned. That gentleman being Elon Musk. I've also seen what's his name, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank.
Oh, Mr. Wonderful, bald guy.
He's also in discussion for purchasing it. Kevin, I think.
Yes,
I forget his last
Kevin
name.
it is
O'Leary.
Kevin. Yeah.
So he's in discussion as well. And then I believe yesterday the government announced that they're going to be introducing a bill to kind of extend the ban and kind of push it out a few weeks, I believe. So
Well,
it may not be going anywhere, and I know that's going to save a lot of local businesses, small businesses, where they've used TikTok as kind of like a platform to sell their products, sell who they are. And I believe outside of what you may believe about TikTok, whether it's Chinese spyware, brain rot or whatever, I've seen a lot of successful businesses get their start or get saved due to the algorithm of TikTok. Like, I don't know if you guys know who Keith Lee is, who goes around trying different restaurants and giving his opinion on them. But I don't know if you guys heard of the Keith Lee effect, where if it's a dying restaurant, he goes and tries it. The next day, they're line out down the block. So TikTok does have its usefulness, especially for realtors, moving companies, small companies, big companies, you name it.
But why wouldn't people just so the need for that content is there, the audience is there. Why wouldn't people just move on to Instagram?
Because the algorithm is extremely different. The algorithm on TikTok Reels is terrible. Like if so I'm a real estate agent, right? And when I go to Reels, all I see, and the only thing that I typically see, is how to grow my social media on Instagram Reels. And that's it.
Versus the informational, educational content.
No, so TikTok you're not just going to see the main thing that it thinks you're interested in. It's going to throw that in there. But I feel like it's an 80-20 where it's throwing you new content, seeing how long you stay on that video, how you engage with it, how many times you watch it, and then it starts adding on to your algorithm. They'll give you the 20% that you're interested in, but they'll constantly be feeding you new things. Versus Instagram, it's like 90% one that you may have looked at, saved, or it's just the algorithms are completely different. That's the strength of TikTok, is their algorithm is completely different than Shorts, Reels, Facebook, or Instagram. It's definitely second to none. I think that's the power in it.
You are right about that. I've noticed that myself. But I'm assuming, let's say TikTok goes away and then all that content goes back on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. I would assume they're working behind the scenes to try to replicate that algorithm. This all the same. I mean, why any smart business person, and Zuckerberg is smart.
I'm sure that's what they're doing, and I'm sure a lot of this ban is backed by those
Yeah,
social
by-
media
by
giants.
use
Oh,
of
that
100.
are
platforms.
local.
No kidding.
Joe, do
Behind
you
the
scenes.
use TikTok? I really don't, and apparently I
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, we actually recently in the last year started using it more for our business because we post a lot of reels on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll post the same exact reel on TikTok. And what I've noticed is on TikTok, we'll get more engagement from non-followers, and on Instagram, it's just people that are following us. So
Mm.
it does perform better on TikTok because, like he was saying, with that algorithm. But my opinion is, I think it's like similar to what Chris was saying. I think people will replicate it. Like, I don't know. I used to be big on when they had Vine like a long time ago, and
I
then
remember Vine.
and then TikTok came around. So TikTok has been around for a little while now. I think longer than Vine was, but I don't know. I for my personal sake, I hope it stays around because my girlfriend can't start her day without looking through TikTok. So yeah,
Is
yeah.
your girlfriend named Alex Mendel?
Uh-oh, I hear
Sorry,
hear
keep
an
losing
echo.
sound.
Oh, it's
Oh,
probably
yeah, we have an
'cause
echo.
mine.
We have an echo going for you, Alex.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up?
Hold on, I gotta mute Alex for a second. Mute. Come back in when you got to fix Alex. So I do have a concern. I have a concern with Elon Musk if he does buy TikTok, and the reason is let's be honest that I don't think anybody in politics should control the way information is being served to people.
Yeah, I can see
And he already
that.
took over Twitter, and Twitter has this is not this that I know there's always gonna be people, oh, you libtard or something. I'm just sharing the information.
Is that
right?
what they call you?
They do. Like,
Oh my
if
gosh. Okay.
Every time I have a conversation with someone and it's not exactly what they want to hear, they not every time they'll call me like a name, and I'm like, you don't even know my stance. I'm just giving my opinion. But anyways, my point is like when Elon took over Twitter, he heavily increased the amount of activity over accounts to the far right, and limited accounts to the for the left. Right? It's documented that happened. And that's not a good thing when someone is in essentially our vice president, right? And then having him also now control TikTok too, that's dangerous. That's like North Korean Russia stuff, right? Not to get deep, but it is when you control the information of if you control the information of how people consume it and it's in line with your visions, that's dangerous, regardless of how you.
Well, hold on. On the other side of the coin, have you guys seen Mark Zuckerberg coming out and stating that the government told him to censor information that was against the vaccine on Facebook? And
I know he came out with something, and I saw a lot of my friends make comments on it, but I don't know the details. But that's wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. So
that's all the same.
It's everybody's doing it, unfortunately, and I know because everybody's doing it, that means it's right. But we're at the mercy of the government.
Yeah, Alex. Here's the thing: human beings have a problem of thinking for themselves. They consume content and information from their trusted sources, and they make it as fact. So, the more they consume it, they turn it as fact. I hate to say it, but it's true. Strategic, self-rationalized thinking is not the norm anymore. It's what I consume over and over again, and there's science behind this, by the way. And then that is what is true. So anyone, if it doesn't matter who it is, I don't care if it was Barack Obama who bought TikTok, I would say that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want anyone with power and control in government on anything having control.
Well, that's also the fear that the government has, is because it's a Chinese, it's an American enemy country that has ties to the social media app, and that's the fear, and that's why they're creating this ban. There's never going to be any sort of source that everybody's happy about.
Yeah, of course not.
Everybody's going to have special interests and their own agendas. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's the government not wanting TikTok users to be able to have all this free information that we're not seeing from the mainstream news, where I'm finding out about things on TikTok that no other news source is talking about. I don't know how verifiable it is, but if I see multiple TikToks from different point of views and different instances, it does align with what could be real information that we're not seeing from anywhere else. And I think that's another fear that these governments are having when it comes to TikTok.
Well, you have to
It's a
control the narrative. If you're,
It's all
you know,
marketing at the end of the day.
Mhm.
it is. Well, that's
Which-
exactly what politics is. It is marketing.
Segue.
Chris, that's where I was
There
going to
it is.
segue. So as Joe
Yeah, go ahead.
Jr. and Joe Sr., see like how Joe Jr. and
We're
Joe
going off on
Sr.
a tangent there.
I know. I was waiting for the mark to like get in there. So Joe Jr., Joe Sr. As far as the company has evolved over the years, and you're a part of the marketing team, Joe. Have you seen a shift with the way the company was ran before to now? I mean, now you're on TikTok. Have you seen a shift in how perception of your company, or just what do you see there?
I would say yes, slightly. First and foremost, our still number one driving force is repeat recommendation and referral business. So we're always going to prioritize that first. But definitely in the last year, we grew our Instagram to over 1,000 followers, partly because my sister and my cousin came along and they've been coming up with some great ideas for content. And so,
Are they younger?
Yeah, they're younger than me. And they both are done with college now. We're doing their own things, but now helping out with our business. And so when I graduated from school, I started with the digital marketing side of things, and I've transitioned to now doing more business development. But they do a way better job than I was doing, for sure. Because how do you make moving look interesting? It's not an interesting topic. I was just talking about that this morning, that nobody likes to talk about moving, let alone think about it. So that's really what we've been focusing on, is how to make it look less scary on our social media. And yeah, we would it's nice to get leads and stuff out of social media, but we use it more so to build credibility online. So if someone goes to search for us, they could see all the work that we do, all the organizations we're a part of, and just do more homework on us and learn more about us as a company.
Smart move, building that trust.
Have you seen any sort of specific style of post that has performed better? Like what sort of
So if we use a reel with one of the family members in it, those do really well. Mostly because a lot of the people that we network with see our face and recognize it. So when they scroll by it, they might not realize it's our post right away and scroll by it quicker. But that if they see our face, so for example, we did a post yesterday that was like a little behind the scenes to your packing day, and so my sister was in the beginning of the video for like 2-3 seconds, just introduce it, and then it pans to the packing day and the crew packing up this home. So that video performed well, and those are the ones that we used to post a lot of still images and stuff like that, but we've gotten away from that and just talk, like we were just talking about, TikTok and Instagram. So that is definitely where everything is heading. So that's where they've done a good job of doing that, is creating those reels, that short form content for that type of stuff.
You have to do video content. It shows your personality, how relatable you are, and that's where people's attention span is at. Still images of what you holding a bunch of boxes isn't really that exciting, but behind the scenes stuff is.
The collaboration too.
And I was telling Jen before this video, you guys do a great job of that too, because that balloon video was hilarious, because those are the types of videos that I think perform well, like stuff that initially doesn't really have much to do with your business, but you tie it in somehow so that it performs well, because you just need to, we always look at like what's trending, like is there a trend that we can put our own spin on, and because that's the stuff that the algorithm pushes. That's what Instagram wants you to be doing, because that's where they get the most eyeballs. So I think what you guys are doing is right on line what we're trying to do.
So we're taking a different twist, and I want to maybe pick your brain on this. You can tell me your thoughts on it. So we're transitioning pretty heavy into short form vertical content for this year. We have a full-time editor and content creator on staff. We created ChatGPT prompts based on research that we've done of best performing reels, and on Fridays we're going out and making content in addition to the stuff on the listings. But on the list, so we'll get into that in a minute, and I want to run some stuff by you on that. But on the listing side, we have noticed that the long form 2 to 4 to 5 minute listing video tours that are horizontal was the intention just nosedive. When I first
Yeah.
started doing it, it was good, but now people have seen it. It's kind of old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So we had a meeting about this. Josh and I, he's our video guy, and we started now. Some of our clients still like the long form. So now we're capping it at 90 seconds, but then we're doing horizontal, vertical, right, for different formats. And then on top of that, instead of just having 1 or 2 agents, we're trying to have between 3 and 5 realtors, each have 1 or 2 lines each. And that way people who may not like me will be attracted to Jen, and who may not like Jen might be attracted to Jair. I know, look at that face.
Well, no, I feel like you should use a different word, but
you know what I mean.
may listen a little harder.
Well, that's
I also
that's
feel like that's like a
tone.
pattern interrupter as well. Like
Yes.
instead of seeing the same person for the entire 60 to 9 seconds,
Mhm.
now you're seeing a new personality. You're seeing somebody new that somebody can.
Yeah, and
you
it's
know,
shifting, right?
Exactly.
when you guys make those posts, do you collaborate with
Yeah.
the other people that are in it? Because that's
Mhm.
that's what I created a separate Instagram page just for me, because my
Smart.
thing is I like to give educational content about the industry. So all the content that I post on my That Mover Guy page is about what to look out for when you're getting moving estimates and stuff like that. Whereas the Cousins page is just about like packing tips, moving day, stuff like that. And so we collaborate so that both of our audiences can work together. And what you were saying about having different faces is great, because it works online as well as it does in person, because you'll go I've been going to meetings with my cousin Gabriella now because she's been shadowing me, and different people will come approach her than me, you know. So I think that's definitely what you need to be doing. And it's good to have multiple people. I think the people who do it really well online, they find people who they can collaborate with that also have a following, and then you have mutual interests, and then basically that's how I think organically you can grow your following the quickest, is by doing that, working with other influencers and real estate professionals and stuff like that. So
Spot
My
on.
You're already
question
there
to you
anyway,
is-
so
Yeah.
might as well.
My question to you is is there a how do I say this? Is there like a purpose to having the 2 different pages? Because I feel like both pages could collaborate or just be on one. If you're having like those 2 different pages where you have good topics that kind of mesh well together, is there a reason why you decided to separate it?
because my goal with That Mover Guy content is to I'm not pushing Cousins USA necessarily. My long-term goal is to be able to teach classes on the moving process, just like they have inspection classes on what you need to know during the inspection process, because a lot of realtors, in my opinion, use the word moving in their marketing, but they don't know the logistics that goes behind it. So
No.
that was the thought process behind That Mover Guy and how it got started, because I wanted to teach and give educational content, and then subliminally throw Cousins in there and collaborate with the Cousins page. So I have
That's cool.
a That Mover Guy website that I put content on, and this was podcasting and doing short form video and blogging, and was all the idea for that. But that's the main reason. I'm not trying to, because I think if I was just getting that educational content out there from a Cousins USA standpoint, it might seem a little more biased. Whereas my goal is just to get out the information and then show that this is why I have all this knowledge, because I came from this family business called Cousins USA. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
That makes sense.
that's why I separated them. Plus, I wanted a page that I can use to connect with realtors and other affiliates that I meet in person. So.
And
What about if other people in your company, what if they did content too? Then they can collaborate on that.
I was just talking about that with my cousin, because like I said, other people are starting to approach her, and she's getting invited to meetings. I said, you should make a page called That Mover Gal, you know? So like, and I want her to be doing her own thing, because it all benefits us and we all have the same goals. So no, I agree with that. We haven't done that yet, but that's a good idea. I will mention that to them for sure.
Yeah, Instagram's good like that. We have the
Yeah.
Homes by Koozie page for that. And then so if Jen creates content, she'll collaborate with the Homes by Koozie page if it's business content, and if Jair or JD or Cody or anyone on the team, so they'll have it on their feeds. But then everyone's collective business content will just go on the Homes by Koozie Instagram because of that collaboration feature. It's a fantastic thing. So yeah, let me know if you do that. I'm kind of curious on how that works out because that'd be cool.
And
Yeah.
Joe does a lot of collaborating with other agents, and again, he happens to know Cindy from Gray's Craze, and that has done stuff with her too.
Yes.
Which I want you to share that because I think that's so cool.
Yeah, that is a small world.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, I know Cindy actually through a mutual friend with Jen, Maya, who I work with, and Maya connected me with Cindy because I sponsor a lot of open houses and classes at the Board of Realtors. So she thought it would be a good relationship for us because I'm always looking for what to bring that's unique because people get tired of the same sandwiches from Publix and stuff like that. So I met Cindy and I was actually with her yesterday, and so we're going to collaborate on a couple of things. We sent out a monthly newsletter as well that she's going to have like a banner in our newsletter to put orders in and get discounts and stuff like that. So it's great doing that type of collaboration because it's going to help both of us, and I like it because I like being a resource to people, not necessarily just for moving, but for other things. We were talking about being a connector. So if I could connect Cindy to who I trust and do business with to other people that will get value from that, like I think it's a win-win for everybody. So
I feel like a great add-on that you could use is whenever somebody's moving, you have one of her boards at the new property. That way, when they're unpacking, they have something to like munch on, and you can put
we've
on there.
That's a good idea. We've thought of like welcome home kits and stuff like that. So that's something we should implement. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to her about that, but
well, you don't have to. You don't have to talk to her about any other realtors but us. So because let me tell you, and admit this is what interests you and me. See, and I want to get your opinion on this, Joe. So actually this was what our training was on yesterday. So we're putting back together our networking group. Jair and our team is running it. And what it is basically our version of a BNI. And we had this going in 2019 where we had, it was about 20 or 25 small local business owners, and we would meet in different locations and just exchange cards, ideas, and make content together and share business. Anyways, we started that back up in 2025, and Cindy is good. It was our first person that we're bringing on board with it for the new version of it. And the idea is that we send her business, she sends us business. And so you don't have to tell her about the other realtors, of course.
Okay. I won't.
No, just kidding. No, I get the game.
Honestly, initially I wanted to connect her with other affiliates like me because those are the people who are going to be buying the stuff to sponsor these open houses and stuff like that. So that was my initial conversation with her. So you guys are good to go. You guys are her people.
Well, do you want to be in our networking group?
I would love to. I personally probably cannot because I have a lot of other commitments. I do a lot with the beaches MLS and the association. I'm on a couple of committees, and also I do this other group called Knowledgeable Aging that focuses on 55 plus communities and bringing educational content to them, not just real estate related.
Yeah,
it's not just cool. We could talk more about it. I mean, it's not necessarily just real estate related. It's for like fall prevention and like at home care, nursing care, and stuff like that. So I do a topic on moving scams and how to avoid them and what to look out for. And it's a friend of mine who started it, who's actually a realtor on the West Coast in Naples, and they're just trying to collect speakers that want to give like educational content in these communities. So I do that.
I love that.
We meet like every other week. It's on Zoom that we meet to plan our seminars that are happening in these communities.
And how often do you do these seminars in the communities?
So he's still.
Tell me more.
We're still growing it on this coast. He's because he lives in Naples, so they have 18 seminars scheduled this month in over there, but we only have like 3 or 4 communities that we're working with here right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is we'll go in, these communities will allow us to come in once a month and have a different topic. So we have estate planning attorneys, we have divorce specialists, all different kinds of people that, and we want it to be where the community is telling us what topics they want to hear, you know? So we're not just doing what's best for us and the speakers that are involved, but what the community really wants to hear. So
do you take the suggestions of what the community wants to hear and turn it into content?
How so? What do you mean?
So like content. You say that you say, you know, if I don't know, what's a suggestion that the community has asked for you to speak about in person, right? Has something stick out in your mind that's, you know, somebody really wanted you to talk about this and you spoke?
The biggest one is homeowners insurance.
Okay.
So usually what we'll do is after the seminar is done, we have a survey that they'll fill out, and they'll click they'll like choose which option, like which topics they want to hear more of. And these lists of topics are people that we already have in our network that can speak on them, so that we know we can schedule a seminar. But we're still just trying to get into communities right now and get this information out to more people. Yep. So that doesn't take too much of my time. Really, the board of realtors takes up a lot of my time.
And then they're so needy, aren't they?
No, of course not. I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy volunteering the time because I'm actually a vice chair on the community outreach committee for Broward County. So that has been great because that's what I was doing first, like in school before I got into marketing and sales. I was doing a lot of community work. So that's something I became passionate about. And so when I started working for my family business, I figured why not give back in our industry and in our community. So that takes a lot of my time right now. But I will say, now that my cousin is working with us more, she's looking for more things to do. So maybe she could join your networking group because she's visiting. She's visiting.
We can have the gal.
Maybe,
yeah, that mover gal.
We're a good afterthought. Yeah. All right.
No, I'm sorry.
A moving gal it is.
Here's the second string.
Well, Joe didn't even ask. You didn't even ask what it was. You did not. It just reminds me of dating in high school all over again. They don't even like.
I'm sorry. I just don't like to commit if I can't give it like 100%. You know, I'm not going to tell you I can do it if I can't. So that's part of the thing we're working on right now. We're growing our small little family business. So trying to come up with, I have my organizations and affiliations that I partner with, but my cousin and my sister are trying to find their own path. So we're always open to doing new things. And so I don't mean to shut you down right away, but I just, I know my schedule.
I'm married. I'm used to it. It's all good. But for those who are listening, realtors who are slightly more curious on what I'm talking about, because this might help your business, and you know, since our show targets realtors, basically, what we do is we have a list of small local business owners, and we're already started actually, and we're gonna go to them and do our own kind of a BNI thing, except less intense and less rule heavy. The only rules are there's one business per genre. So there'll be like one ice cream shop, one moving company, one insurance rep, right? Because you don't want to have like 20 of the same thing in there. We're gonna meet just 3 times a year, not a lot. Maybe it's quarterly, so it might be 4, but 3 to 4 times a year, where all we do is you go to a different location. Let's say if it's we're talking about Grace Craze and she's a member, she can host one of the meetings. We hand out cards. She can give away some of her, some of her treats that she offers over there at Grace Craze. And then we create content together. So we already created some content with Grace Craze. And as realtors, why this is important to you, if you're good at creating content, small business owners aren't. So if you can collaborate with them and create some content with them, you're adding tremendous value. So that's it. It was a pretty simple concept.
You can start doing giveaways too that way. And then you start collaborating.
I like that idea. It's definitely different than the other groups out
Well,
there.
you already rejected me, so don't worry
Yeah.
about it, Joe. But
Yeah.
speaking of
I
the
would, I would
giveaway,
like to. I
There's
would
no
like to
regrets here.
retract my
No.
state. I'd like to retract the last 2 minutes. That's
No, I'm
funny.
just messing with you.
We're a
Of
very
course.
chill group, as you can
That's
tell,
funny.
but very heavy content. We're all about
Yeah.
creating content that's
Well-
meaningful and helpful.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I really like that idea because I guess that's become my initial reaction is to deny because I get invited to like a BNI group every day. So so
And
I have
realtors
no
don't get
interest
into
in that.
one. So
for you to come in, yeah, and for you to come up with something different, like, I think that's great. You know.
Well, we did it in 2019 before COVID, and we only did it for like 5 months or so. I guess it was either 5 or 6 transactions from it personally,
wow.
and it was great. People loved it. It was good, and then we got locked down. And then after that, I had 2 babies, and I couldn't start it. But we're starting it back up this year. Alex,
Cool.
on your point on the giveaway, tomorrow's my birthday, and I teamed up with
Happy
Grace
birthday.
Craze. We're giving away koozie cups for the first I forgot a few. I bought a few dozen koozie cups, were just charcuterie cups, and people in my database gets
I
first
thought you
dibs.
meant like
Not
cups
like a
with your face on it.
koozie. No.
No,
That's what I
no,
thought
like
too.
a
You meant
A
charcuterie
like-
cup.
Grace
Yeah.
Craze filled beautiful cup that has been
Oh,
branded
okay.
koozie cup.
Yep, for my birthday.
Yeah, that's
and,
nice. So how do
so-
you? So what do you do? Like, what are the rules of the contest?
nothing.
Or is
So
it-
we have
is it a
the
contest?
See,
I feel like
again,
it should
chill.
be. There's got to be a
It's
there's
like
got
the
to be a
first
reason
come,
behind
first
it.
serve, right?
well, I'll tell
No, I
you.
know,
so-
but if
What? Oh, sorry. No, I know. I know I'm overpowering. I'm sorry. I'll step
no,
back.
it's fine. No, it's fine, and I will tell you how you should do it better.
Okay, fair. That's fair. That's why you're here. So, we have a Homes by Koozie VIP group. Anyone who's referred business, used us, or cheerleader for us, they're in this VIP group, and they get first dibs. So I'm telling them they have until 10 to 12 to claim all the cups. So if there's extra koozie cups, I'm just gonna post it on my regular feed for anyone to go grab a koozie cup. And so what we're asking, and not required, but asking in exchange, that they leave Gray's Crazy review. They'll have a QR code for them to scan, and bonus points. They get future discounts at Gray's Craze if they post it on social media. So for Gray's Craze, our partners in our business networking group that Joe doesn't want to join, is that we create content with it. We do giveaways with it, and then we help our partners get more reviews on their page by doing giveaways like that. Just offering tremendous, and there's other things, but like having them on a podcast like this, clipping it, and now they can leverage our podcast as being a part of the networking partner and for more social media content. So, okay, Alex, how can I do it better?
No, it's not even better actually. Like I love that the fact that you're giving your VIP people an extra bonus just for being loyal to you, sending you referrals. Another strategy that you can use to
Another approach.
grow your social media. Another approach to grow your social media following. I don't know if you guys ever saw those like crazy, like, share, and follow, tag 3 people on this post, and you'll get a car. Have you ever seen those like on Instagram?
No.
It's like,
So,
yeah. So like do something like that where you collaborate with Grace Craze. You have to follow both of us, like this post, share it on your story, and tag 3 of your friends, and you'll get their top
people
board.
do this.
Why don't you try it?
I-
I'm
We
gonna
should try. Why don't we make that part of our
We'll do
networking
that
group strategy, Jen?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Or like do
I'm
it
down
with
to
Joe.
try it.
Get $1,000 discount on your next move, like something
Mhm.
crazy. Like it has to be big. It can't be.
Yeah.
Like, no offense, it can't just be the cup. I'm not saying like $1,000. Like I'll pay for it, but if I
Mhm.
get 500 new followers out of it,
It's worth
You know,
it. It's
you
It's
advertising.
worth
expand
it.
it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's completely worth it.
it has to be something massive, not like a small little cup. It has to be something
ma-
huge.
Alex, you make a great point. When I talk to small business owners, I struggle working with them because they think too narrowly. Not I shouldn't say they like as a blanket statement, but many of them.
Yeah,
Because I'll say something like, "Hey, we need to give away something good here," and they're like, "What about a buy one get one? What about 10% off?" I'm like, "No. That's not going to move any needles. You
Mhm.
need to. It's the wow factor. Like, wow,
Yeah.
really?
and
All I have
you
to
know
do
what?
is this,
If
and I
they
get that."
if they don't have that vision, then you just pay for it
Yep.
because you know the how big the outcome can be, right?
Yeah. Well, what they confuse is often that they're losing money by giving this away, but they're failing to recognize it's no different than spending money on advertising in another format, except this is a more connected form of advertising that's unique and stands out.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to explain that to a lot of small business owners. And I struggled with that in 2019 with the network group. And as the few conversations I had now with some small business owners, it's the same. But when you have someone like Joe who gets it, who doesn't just say no to things right away and it hears things out, when then you have a solid person, that relationship that you can create with them and grow businesses together.
Yeah, I'm not gonna live that one down, I guess.
Never.
Unfortunately.
Have you met me? I don't hold grudges at all.
That's funny.
But anyways,
There's different strategies they can use. I would start with somebody that you know personally. Like I'm sure Gray's Crazy would love that. Like their biggest charcuterie board, just they get $1,000, thing, or like maybe a pizza place, you get one free pizza for a week. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Like,
never go hungry.
Like one free pizza every week,
2025.
52 pizzas for the year. How much does it cost a pizza place to create a pizza, right? Like my first job, there was a bunch of pizzas that people didn't pick up. They would just send it with a buzzer, right? Like it's just one, but the magnitude of having, people like, share, tag their friends, and then they have to do it. You would just have to make sure you track all the analytics of where they were before the giveaway and where they were after in terms of like followers.
I love it, dude.
And that's your proof. Thanks, man.
I like it. One pizza a year. He's all
This
about
is
the
something I
nuggets.
just thought about. Yeah.
He's all about the nuggets. No, I mean, last time when we were talking to Grace Craze too, you dropped that nugget about the platter with leaving it in the fridge for them on moving day, which
Or
we
at the
talked
closing
about,
table.
right at the
Remember that?
closing table and the fridge, which is great.
Yeah.
Joe, you can bring that part on too.
Yeah.
As far as your giveaway, your added value to it. Oh, actually, Joe, you didn't tell everybody. Does your company only do South Florida?
No, we do not. We do
Good job, Jen.
local, interstate, and even international. We just did a move for someone to Switzerland.
Wow.
So we're part of a larger van line called Wheaton Worldwide Moving. So I can service moves across the country. If there is a move in another state, and let's say it's just a local move in New York, like I would just refer that to an agent of ours. And I only refer agents that I've met personally. So like next month, I'm going to our awards gala for the top agents in the network. And so that's been great to be part of them. We've been with this van line for over 20 years, and it's allowed us to service our customers across the country. So yes, we do moves all over the world, and mostly we do most of our moves in the Tri-County area. But what we've been seeing recently is a lot of people from South Florida moving to northern parts of Florida or Georgia and the Carolinas, and then a lot of people from the Northeast moving to South Florida. So there's a lot of people who have lived here for a while that are moving out of South Florida or further north, and people from Florida's always going to be an inbound state. It's just always going to have that appeal. So yeah, that's where we are positioned to be able to service everybody. So
That's awesome.
Happy to be a part of that.
And when people call you and they're like, "Hey, Joe, I need a moving company, but there's a transition between my close date on my sell and my purchase. What do I do?" How do you solve that problem?
Is that what they do?
Yes.
Oh yes. Ah.
So we also have our storage facility here in our warehouse, and something that we offer is if it's going to be like a couple weeks or less than a month, we don't charge storage. So we just
Badass
charge
right there.
we just charge for the pickup to storage and then the delivery out of storage. So you don't have any storage costs. Some movers charge warehouse handling fees and stuff like that. So we don't do that. Our storage facility is a private locked storage facility because we do a lot of government and military work as well. So it's not like a public storage facility where you have to walk in and you can access your stuff. We inventory everything and sticker everything to make sure we know what's in our warehouse. So it'll get loaded on the truck, moved here, and then whenever their new home is ready, we'll deliver it wherever it is.
Joe,
So
that's content, by the way. Have you made
Yeah.
content on that?
yeah, a little bit. I haven't posted it all
Let's make
because
a lot of it.
yeah. So that's what I would say. That is what our storage is best for. Is those scenarios where people don't have somewhere to go right away, and we can offer that service because otherwise you're paying warehouse handling fees. You have to pay for storage. If you're doing a public storage facility, that's a pain in the neck too. So we can offer the full thing, and you don't have to worry about it.
Wow.
So, Joe, how do you set yourself apart? Like, so for real estate agents, we are often looked at as a commodity where the only value of difference is our commission. And we know that's inaccurate, but that's where people lean to.
Mhm.
And I imagine in your business, it's the same. Like mortgage brokers, like, oh, this one has a better rate. You probably hear the same type of rejection or question. So, what is it, and how do you overcome it?
I would say our competitive advantage is our process for estimating the moves, because a lot of movers will just listen to the customer's needs and say yes to whatever they want to
Yeah.
hear, and that's not how we operate. Because my uncle, who's one of the owners, he's one of the co-founders. He's the one who goes out and does these estimates, and he's been doing this for 30 years. That we're confident enough that when he goes out there, we know how long it's going to take, how much crew we're going to need, how much material we're going to need, so that we can offer a flat rate price and a guaranteed service. So it's little things that I've learned as I've been in the business for the last 5 years, because initially, like you said, it's everyone's got the same costs, same movers, same trucks, same equipment, but ours is our process and our transparency. So if you're moving in a high-rise building in Miami, are they measuring the walking distance from where your truck is parked to where your unit is? If that estimator is not doing that, then that's going to be a discrepancy on their estimate, and that's when you hear people talking about, oh, they charge me more money because, and that's just because of inexperienced salesmen. Sometimes it's people who are just trying to get over, but for us, I think it's our thoroughness and how we're just transparent with the customers. We rather walk away from a job that we know is going to be a headache because they don't want to listen to our advice than
Smart.
say yes to it. You know.
Do you
So that's
offer any
content,
sort
by the
of
way.
yeah?
I
Do
know.
you offer any sort of guarantees that because I know Chris has his guarantees. I have my guarantees. Do you guarantee any part of your service or your business, or if something is forgotten about, something is broken, this and that? Like, do you offer any sort of guarantees with your services?
Yeah. So we offer. Well, the biggest thing is the price, because you hear all the movers horror stories about changing the price.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There'll be occasions where my uncle's not perfect; he'll make a mistake sometimes. But if it ends up costing us more, we're never going to go back to the customer and do that. So we guarantee that price when you see it is what it's going to be.
Flat rate price, a flat rate
Yes.
price that you provided the estimate up front.
Yeah, and there's situations where the customer is uncertain, so it's best to just leave it as an open-ended price where it's based on the hours and the material that we use. That happens when someone's like, "Oh, I might sell this, I might sell that." We can't give a guaranteed price because you don't know what's going.
Mm-hmm.
So when we know what's going, and we have a thing, it's called a client service expectation sheet, that before he even goes in the house and does the inventory, this is another one of the things I think is unique that we do, is he'll sit down with them at the dining room table, the coffee table, and write down these notes of what the customer is expecting us to do and what we're expecting the customer to do. And then we sign it and he signs it. So we are guaranteed that at that time when we do the estimates, we're going to be doing those services that you requested, and you're going to do what you say you're going to do. Because sometimes customers try to get over on people. And so if you're not taking these extra steps, it ends up with a headache on moving day. And so yeah, I would say that is the biggest thing. Like it's all connected for us. It's all about having those conversations and being transparent with them.
And streamlining this entire process. It sounds to me like you have a really good intake form. You have a great process as to how you're communicating with these customers. And then at the table, which I love, it's so personal, at the dining room table, you both set expectations on both sides. Like, here's what Mr. Seller, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Customer. Here's what's expected of me and you, and we're both agreeing on it. We have a reference point. Spot on. I think that's so smart of you guys.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can. It's a simple form. It's just for other businesses. Like I think that's a good. It also helps you build rapport with the customer, because they'll also talk about personal stuff. So like, why is Miss Nancy getting rid of this piece of furniture, or why does she want to keep it? Is it because her late husband bought that or built it for her? So like that's important for us to write down on those notes. And so I think anybody could, yeah, use extra care, put in a crate or something. So that's stuff that I think anyone in business can use, you know?
So Joe, you said a lot of unique, thank you for bringing that up, Alex. You said a lot of unique features and services and offers. How would the public know this on the surface, or would they not know it until that phone call is made?
That's a great question, because that is my job 24/7, how to get that word out to people. Because once we are in the ball game, I'm very confident in people and liking who we are and choosing us. But how do we get out to more people?
Yeah.
How do we get out to more people? And so right now it's dividing and conquering. There's three of us, in three of the cousins in the business now, trying to get out to as many people. It's social media, doing blog content and community events that so in October of last year, we did a cornhole tournament for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I was actually a Men Wear Pink ambassador for the American Cancer Society. So it's stuff like that shows you who the family is and what we believe in and how we do business. I think is the best way to do it. It's just hard because I'm a little impatient. It's just hard to get those rapid results because we don't have a huge marketing budget. We don't have all these things that some of these other companies have, but we have to just trust, the process of building relationships and getting our name out there. It's worked out so far for us in 30 years. So
content at this point.
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of content. It has to be on your website too.
And you literally in the last 45 minutes have provided so much information.
Yeah, I want to know what moving scams to look out for now.
Right?
I can talk all day. Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but this is just such amazing information, and getting your name out there, putting your face, like you said, people stop when they see one of the cousins, like, oh, okay, wait, what do they have to say?
Yeah.
And putting your face there, even if you're uncomfortable hearing yourself, because we all talked about like our voices, right?
Yeah.
Just put that shit out there.
Yeah,
exactly.
No one cares more than you do about the sound of your voice. It still sounds like I'm a preteen. I just deal with it. That's a good thing, Alex. You said this is actually interesting in my mind, at least. Maybe I might be the only one. I want to know, what is the wildest moving scam? We can't talk about all of them. What is the wildest, craziest one that you can think of?
Well, I'll say the most common that we hear all the time, and it's mostly on interstate moves, out-of-state moves.
Oh my God, I'm having anxiety.
On these out-of-state moves, instead of it being priced out on hours that it's going to take and material and how many crews you have, it's priced on weight, total weight. And so what they'll do is they'll load the truck before your stuff is loaded on that truck, and then they'll load your stuff on, like, weigh the truck after your stuff is on there to figure out the difference and how much stuff you have. Yeah. So the scam is when people are searching for movers online and they're trying to get quotes, they'll call someone who they think is the moving company. They're just a moving broker. And that moving broker is just going to give a lowball estimate to book it and to make their commission. And then they're going to sell it to a carrier. When the carrier gets out there on moving day, it's twice as much stuff as what the broker sold it for. And so the carrier won't tell the customer the change in price until the stuff is on their truck, and they won't unload that truck unless they pay that extra money. And if they don't pay that extra money, they'll then go put your stuff in storage, and then you'll have to start paying storage fees. Some people, so I've had a realtor friend of mine who called me for some advice because recently her friend was moving from California to here, and it's been 2 months and she hasn't even saw her stuff yet. And so the key is understanding the difference between the two, a broker and a carrier, because she was looking for that broker to get a hold of. But once that broker sells their job, they're gone in the wind. They're changing their name. They're changing their website. No, like there was a company in our area that was operating under 12 different names.
Jeez.
And what they do is they take these national van lots and they change a letter or two of their name, or they make it very similar so it looks like they're part of this company, but they're really
That's
not.
a lot of work.
But I know, but it's
Wow.
and so recently in our industry they just passed a rule for us to follow that. Now to fight these brokers, they're making the customer sign the contract, the bill of lading, at least 3 days before moving day, because if they don't do that and the price changes, it affects how much that carrier is allowed to collect. So it's now allowing the customer to read through their bill of lading and their contract beforehand and then cancel it if they need to. So it's always important to the simple question that I always tell people to ask is, do you own your own trucks and do you have your own movers? Because that's the easiest way to look at it. If you go online and you look at that moving company and their office is in like a high-rise building and they don't have like a warehouse or anything, then that's a red flag. So that's the most common one. It happens every day because it's an easy scam. It's gray areas, and it's hard to pinpoint who's doing the bad stuff, you know.
Well, knowledge is power. Thank you for enlightening me.
And that gives all movers a bad name, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that has been my driving force for That Mover Guy and the educational content, because no other moving company that I know is talking about it, and I just think it's important information that people need to know.
That's content, Joe.
There we go.
Thank you.
Write it down.
If there's one thing you take away, let's do some content today, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, every time I hear these things, I'm like, ooh, I can make content on that. But Joe should make content on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, Joe, I know we've kept you for quite a long time, and I'm so excited and happy that you made time to hang out with us. You've been amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very late.
I might be sold to join the networking group. I feel like I regret it. So
you
guys did a good job.
The invitation might not be there, Joe. Hey, so let's wrap. Actually, I want to ask two questions. The second question is going to hinder on the first one. One, you kind of answered it. Would there be? I ain't gonna need a moving company for my networking group. Would you seriously consider doing it, or should we move on?
Yes, us as Cousins USA would consider doing it. We'll have to work out who goes to those meetings, but yeah, for sure, definitely.
Cousins,
just say yes, Joe.
Cousins
yes.
is in. Cousins is in.
All right, say
I'm
yes.
just gonna tell you how. I'm just gonna tell you how I'm thinking it. I'm sorry, but yes, we are definitely. I honestly, I'm not yanking your chain. I really do like the idea because it's different than any other networking group that I've been a part of. So
stick around.
I do like the idea.
Cool. All right. The second question is at the Homes by Kuzi team, we offer unique bonuses and services and discounts for all of our for our people. And I'm going to give you, I want to know what is something that you don't have to think of it now, but if you want to offer something that would be super, super cool and unique, exclusive to say the Homes by Kuzi team, which Alex was thinking about joining, if that invitation's still there, that you can possibly offer for our clients. What would do you have anything on top of your head?
Well, so in the past, especially on the interstate moving level, we've had national accounts and situations where we can like provide free coverage for your move. So every mover gives standard coverage at the state and it's free, but so in the event something is broken, so we can work out a situation where we add that for free, and or just we mentioned a discount, but if we want to do this going forward, I'll have to come up with something better, you know.
I have an idea. You want to hear it?
Sure.
All right. So what about a per diem? Of course, you don't have to answer now, but I was just thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking like, what would be kind of cool? So, like you can do a per diem for every day past the day we said that we'll have your stuff unloaded into your new property. We'll knock off X amount off for your bill. So if you say it's going to be there on Tuesday, but it's there on Wednesday, now they paid $100 less.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we actually have those policies already in place for because when you
don't say that. That's exclusive to us.
oh sorry
It's
sorry
double the per
I'll
diem.
have
Double
to
the
I'll have to
double the
increase
per
it. I'll have to
diem.
increase it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to
No,
increase
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I do want to hear what you tell me about that.
I was just
Well,
joking.
we do because when you move out of state, you get a delivery window, and if you don't get delivered within that delivery window, they do pay for for being late, and then they pay for hotel or wherever you have to lodge. So if we're late, we put our money where our mouth is. Same thing with claims. If there's a claim that takes place and something's broken, we will pay if it's not settled after 30 days. So if your claim's not settled within 30 days, we'll pay for each day that it's late. So
That's awesome.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. I'll have to increase how much we pay for the Homes by Kuzi team.
Oh,
There-
cool.
that's
All right,
the
well, that's
spirit.
content, by the way.
Awesome.
Alex has to go. He gave the peace sound, right?
That was
All right.
it.
I have a hard stop.
All right,
I know.
Alex.
All
We'll
good.
see you later. Joe, thank you for being here. How can people find you? Where can they find you?
Yes, first at that mover guy on Instagram, and Joseph Polio with 2 L's, polio with 2 L's, not like the disease with 1 L. And just please follow the at Cousins Moving page on Instagram. That's where most of our up to date content is. So at
All
Cousins
right.
Moving.
Well, you definitely have at least 3 new followers on all 3 pages right now.
Thank you.
For sure.
Done.
Thank
ya.
you so much, Joe. Thank
Have a
you,
good one.
Chris. Later,
Check
Alex.
us out, Jen.
Thank
We're
you.
out of here. That was
Bye.
it.
Oh,
that's
no,
all.
I didn't know. Really?
Alex, you can go.
Oh.
Just go. Bye, Alex.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye, everyone else. So we just do it
Bye.
like that.